Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. I am excited to walk you through some essential Excel functions. Whether you're analyzing data, generating reports, or simply trying to clean up your spreadsheets, these functions will make your life much easier. Today, we'll focus on the COUNTIF, SUMIF, IFERROR, text, round, now, and a few text functions. Let's start with the COUNTIF and the SUMIF. These functions allow us to apply criteria to our data. For example, if we want to know how many tasks were completed, we can use a COUNTIF to count how many cells meet that condition. In our example, here's what our formula will look like. We'll say equal to COUNTIF, and we highlight our cell, which is on our status cell, from cell C3 to C18. And in inverted commas, we say completed. This counts all the tasks that are marked as completed, and in our case, there are 5. Now, if you want to sum the hours spent only on completed tasks, we can use the SUMIF. So here's how it works. You say equal to SUMIF, we open our bracket, and we're going from cell C3 to C8. We're interested in completed tasks, and we also want it to tell us how many hours, which is in column D, from D3 to D10. There you go. We have 29 hours spent on completed tasks. So both the COUNTIF and the SUMIF helps us filter data based on conditions for either counting or summing values. Now let's look at the IFERROR function. Sometimes when we do calculations, we encounter errors like division by 0, which creates an ugly code. Most times we see the div/0 error. Instead of seeing these errors, you can use the IFERROR to handle them more gracefully. Let us say in our case that we want to divide maybe cell C3 by hours spent. Okay, it's going to give us value error. Which of course is because you can't divide text, right, by number. But let's say that we don't want to, just to highlight this function, we don't want this error to show. So what we can do is to use the IFERROR command just to make our work neat. And then we say, yes, still divide the task name by the hours spent. But this time I want you to write error in calculation, for example. So and there you go. So it will always make our work neat and say error in calculation. If we decide to write a figure and also here put a figure, of course that's going to work and it's going to yield a number. Okay. So instead of having the value annoying code, we have a message to tell us that something is actually wrong and our work is neat. Moving on to the text function. The text function is one that we use when we want to control how our numbers or dates appear. In this case, we have our dates in columns F and G, and we want them to display as month, day, and year. So what we can do is we call the text function equal to text. We want it to pick from the start date of the first task, which is F3 in this case, and we want it to read month. We want it to read month, day, and year. And we drag down. Okay, so now we have our data reading as month, day, and year. Okay. So it ensures that our date looks exactly how we want it to, making our data presentation more consistent. Now let's look at the round up and the round down. These functions help us to round numbers to a certain number of decimal places. The round rounds the nearest value. The round up always rounds up, and the round down always rounds down. In this case, all our numbers are already round numbers. So let us decide to give them. Let's decide to give our numbers, some decimal places. Let's add some decimal places, and then we say maybe this is now. Okay, let's just give random numbers to some of them. Okay. Okay, so let's try the around. We want to try the round up and the round down. So to try the round, we'll say round. We want to round this to two decimal places. Okay. We want to round up. We want to round up to two decimal places. And we want to round down to two decimal places. So you see, let's delete this so that it's on the same line. There you go. So these are the different ways that we can use these functions to ensure that our reports, the numbers in our reports are consistent. Let's look at the now and today functions. These are fantastic for adding dynamic dates and time values to our spreadsheets. The today function will return just today's date. Okay, returns just today's date. But the now functions returns the current date and the time. So if we say now, it returns the date and the time. Finally, let's wrap up with len, left and right. These text functions are great for manipulating and extracting parts of text data. Len gives the length of a text string. So let us say we want to find the length of status, for example, and it tells us that it has 9 characters. The left extracts characters from the beginning of a string. So if you say left, it will extract characters from the beginning of a string. And because we didn't give any number of characters, it's extracting just one. But let us say we want to extract the first 3. Okay, so it gives us ink. And then right is used to extract characters from the end of a string. Let's say we want to extract just one. So we say it removes the D. And depending on how many letters you want to extract, you can increase the number. These functions are useful when you're working with data that needs to be cleaned up or analyzed at the character level. Today we've covered a lot of ground. These functions, COUNTIF, SUMIF, text, round, now, and text functions like len, left and right will empower you to work with data in Excel more efficiently and effectively. I encourage you to experiment with these functions in your own data sets and see how they can improve your productivity. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more Excel tips and tricks.